Hey, welcome to my channel. Today's topic is a comparison of 10 popular modern muscle cars. Much like the mid-60s and early 70s, Ford, Chevy, and Dodge are duking it out. Let's see who's currently on top. Of course, deciding which car is right for you heavily depends on your taste and many other factors I couldn't possibly calculate. With so many great performance vehicles to choose from, I believe we are in the golden age of muscle cars. The criteria for this list are as follows. 1. V8 powered and American manufactured. 2. Newest model currently available. 3. Base model MSRP of $70,000 or less. 4. Two-door vehicles only. 5. 2012 or newer with one exception. And 6. Currently available for purchase. All prices are for base models in stock form. Comparison puts heavy emphasis on muscle and some but little emphasis on cornering, braking, and aerodynamics. Stay to the end where I'll explain how I arrived at these conclusions. So without further ado, here are the top 10 best modern muscle cars. Number 10, the 0304 Terminator Cobra. This is the one exception to the 2012 or newer criteria that I placed on this list. I made the exception because these cars are still very competitive, and I believe this Cobra is responsible for starting the modern muscle car wars. This was one Mustang with highly underrated numbers from the factory at 390 horsepower. Real numbers are closer to 420 with torque to match. It had nearly 33% more horsepower than the previous model. With a weight of 3,700 pounds, this SVT rocketed to 60 in 4.4 seconds and covered the quarter in 12.2. The base price of $34,750 got you a top speed of 155 miles per hour and a car that with very little modification would put down 500 horsepower. The 2003 model was SVT's 10th anniversary and a special edition was available. Number 9. The 2015 to present Dodge Challenger SRT 392. The 392 cubic inch 6.4 liter Hemi gives us 485 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds and the quarter in 12.6. Offering such upgrades as electronically adjustable suspension, 6-piston Brembo brakes, and wider rear tires than the Scat Pack. But the over $11,000 difference in price over the Scat Pack at $49,195 put the SRT lower on our list than the Scat Pack. Number 8. The 2015 to present Dodge Challenger Scat Pack. Borrowing its motor from the SRT, 392 cubic inches fill the engine bay with the aforementioned 485 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque. Weighing in at 4,279 pounds, this 70s throwback muscle car offers the most spacious cabin on this list. Available with a 6-speed manual or 8-speed automatic, you'll see 0 to 60 times in the low 4s and the quarter in 12.6 seconds. Adding the shaker hood scoop really sets this car off. Although it doesn't add any horsepower, you'll still have trouble finding traction with the 245mm rear tires versus the 275mm on the SRT model. The Scat Pack is said to have a top speed of 182 miles per hour, and that brings us to number 7 on our list, and that goes to the 2015 through 2017 Mustang GT. A starting sticker price of $32,395 and 435 horsepower. The S550 GT is the most bang for your buck in this comparison. That and 400 pound-feet of torque combined sends you to 60 in 4.2 seconds, passing the quarter in 12.3. Weighing a reasonable 3,700 pounds, paired with a wonderful 5.0-liter Coyote engine, you'll reach a top speed of 164 miles per hour. Due for a refresh for 2018, the Mustang GT will surely hold its spot as one of the most popular pony cars of all time. Number 6 brings us to the 2012 and 2013 Boss 302 Mustang with an MSRP of $40,310, boasting a 5-liter engine with 444 horsepower and 380 foot-pounds of torque. This is not a Coyote with an intake. Called the Roadrunner, it's capable of 7,500 RPM, which is shadowed only by the 5-year newer Voodoo engine and the GT350 at 8,250 RPM. But that's not all. The Roadrunner also hosts forged pistons and beefed up rods, said to have been the strongest in Ford's history. CNC ported aluminum heads with tougher valves and springs, bigger exhaust cams, along with its exhaust and no apologies throwback attitude will surely hold its place in muscle car history. Midway through our chart brings us to the 2016 to present Shelby GT350 with 526 horsepower and 429 pound-feet of torque from the flat plane crank Voodoo engine. The GT350 reaches 60 miles per hour in 4.3 seconds and makes quarter-mile passes at 12.5. With a top speed of 175 miles per hour and tipping the scales at 3,760 pounds, the GT350 has a base MSRP of $54,845. On to number 4, the 2016 and 2017 Camaro SS. Producing 455 horsepower and 455 foot-pounds from its 6.2-liter LT1 engine. The Gen 6 Super Sport rips to 60 in 4 seconds flat and the quarter in 12.3. Weighing in at 3,339 pounds, the Super Sport's top speed is 165 miles per hour, offering a touchscreen with backup camera and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard equipment, and a price tag of $37,900. If you're enjoying this video, please take a second and hit that like button, and subscribe for more great content. And be sure to hit that bell so that you're in the loop every time I upload. Thank you for your support. Now on to the top 3. Dodge Challenger Hellcat. The current title holder for highest horsepower American production car and the most horsepower on this list. 707 to be exact and 650 torque. Held back to the 3rd spot because of weight at 400 pounds more than the top 2 contenders. Less at home on a road course than the number 1 spot and $7 per horsepower more than the runner-up. This beast runs to 60 at a blistering 3.6 seconds. And a quarter-mile time of 11.7 with its 6.2-liter supercharged Hemi engine, boasting a 200 mile per hour top speed, propelling it to the 3rd spot. Number 2. From when the battle between the big 3 really started to heat up, SVT's 20th anniversary brought us the 2013 and 2014 Shelby GT500, holding the highest American production car horsepower rating of 662 until 2015. And a very respectable 631 pound-feet of torque. This is the last vehicle Carroll Shelby himself endorsed before his death in 2012. Capable of 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds and the quarter mile in 11.5 with a weight of 3,845 pounds. All that power is delivered from a 5.8-liter aluminum block Trinity V8 that can rev to 7,000 RPM. With a 2.3-liter TVS supercharger mounted on top, then channeled through a TR6066 on through a carbon fiber drive shaft to the 331 ring and pinion. Makes for no shift 0 to 60 pulls in first gear and a top speed of 202 miles per hour. The base model came in at $54,995 suggested retail and avoided the gas guzzler tax. And number 1 goes to the 2017 Camaro ZL1. Robbing its engine from the C7 Z06 Corvette. It makes 650 horsepower and 650 foot-pounds of torque. The supercharged 6.2-liter LT4 propels the ZL1 to 60 in 3.5 seconds and a quarter-mile pass in 11.4 at 127 miles per hour. It tips the scales at 3,883 pounds and can reach a top speed of 198 miles per hour. Included are Alcantara adornments throughout the cabin, Recaro heated and cooled seats, Bose stereo, and a host of other tech, including an available performance data recorder. Also available with the excellent new 10-speed automatic co-developed with Ford. With all the numbers added up, including the $61,140 MSRP, it barely edged out the GT500 for the top spot on this list. And now on to honorable mentions. These cars didn't make the cut for one reason or another, but definitely are worthy of mention. No list would be complete without the 2018 Dodge Challenger Demon. With 840 horsepower for just under $85,000, the Demon would have taken the top spot on the list, however due to the price, and it isn't available yet, the Demon was not a consideration. 2015 Corvette Z06, 650 horsepower and 650 foot-pounds of torque. LT4 supercharged V8, 3,524 pounds, 0 to 60 in 2.95 seconds and a quarter-mile pass in 10.95. ZL1 1LE. Shelby GT350R. Dodge Charger, Scat Pack, and Hellcat. Shelby GTH, Hertz Rent-A-Racer. And the Chevy SS. Alright, now the time's come to explain myself. This is the formula I made up so I could compare these cars. I started with research. I tried to find 3 reliable sources for each category I wanted to use for my comparison. First, I found the base model MSRP, then the curb weight, horsepower, torque, 0 to 60 in quarter-mile times, and the top speed. I calculated the cost per horsepower, cost per foot-pound, and then averaged the two. I also figured the power-to-weight ratio and subtracted that from the cost of power. Next, I added the 0 to 60 in quarter-mile times together, and the car with the lowest number got a 100. The next lowest number got a 90, and so on, in increments of 10. Then the most track-worthy cars got a 100, and so on down to the Scat Pack, which got a 50 along with the Terminator Cobra. I then added the top speed of each car, and the car with the highest number was the ZL1 at 2,086. The GT500 was 2,068, and the Camaro Supersport was at 1,687. I feel like most of the factors that made for a good muscle car were included. The biggest number I used was the power-to-weight ratio, it being in the thousands. Everything else carried less weight as they were in the hundreds. Well, tell me what you think in the comments below. Is my formula good? Could it be improved? Or is it fatally flawed? As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.